I remember busting into my mom's makeup and using all her lipstick and eyeliners to try and make myself into a monster. And she was very frustrated with me. But then I realized when I was in high school that I could buy makeup products and practice and learn how to do makeup. And so then when I was in college, I decided that it was a career I wanted to pursue. So I moved out to LA and I went to makeup designery in Burbank and learned how to do practical effects makeup. And then as far as the acting and the writing and poetry, that was just something I always dabbled in. I did theater growing up. I used to keep journals and was writing all the time when I was in first grade, second grade. It just sort of stuck with me. And then through high school, everyone told me you got to pick a niche, you have to do one thing, and I refused. And so I still kind of do everything. But what's interesting is to work on a big film set, to work for Netflix or Universal or Disney, you have to be a union makeup artist. And that's where it gets a little tricky because it's difficult to get union hours when you're not able to work on a union set. So it's a bit of a catch 22. And that's where a lot of young artists struggle starting out. I myself am not a union artist. But yeah, for me, I love the conceptualization and design element of makeup. I love creating characters. I love figuring out what world they live in, designing them head to toe. For me, that's the most fun part. So I love the design phase, the process. When it was in the theater at the Egyptian Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. And it was an amazing experience to see it in a theater on 35 millimeter film. And I was riveted the whole time. I left the theater and it was hysterical because I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard to my car and the man in front of me had also been in the theater watching the movie. And we passed this star that said Victor. And this man stopped and pointed at it. And in the monster's voice went, Victor. And then looked at me and laughed. And I was like, that was good. Great
If you're
job.
not a good makeup artist, it doesn't matter how much work you do, right? That'll get around that you're not good at your job. But the majority of the time, like I can say I have never worked with an artist that wasn't good at their craft, right? Um, actually, correction, I worked with one artist, but they will remain secret. It's a lot of times it's in who you know. So when I had said, that sometimes skill doesn't matter, it's kind of true, unfortunately, that I've seen artists that don't have that large of a portfolio or don't have, as much skill as another artist, right? I've seen them get really high paying gigs. I would recommend sitting for an artist, like sitting in a makeup chair will teach you so much about how to treat the actors in your chair. Focus on what you love about it, focus on the fun of it. I had a mentor, a very wise mentor, who told me eventually you get to a point in your career where you have to ask yourself when you're accepting a project, is this something that's like on my bucket list that I really want to do? Or is it something that's going to pay me really well? Or is it something that's going to give me a really big connection, right? And if it doesn't hit any of those boxes, then maybe that's not the project for you, right?